Hey guys, it's Viewmasters Reactions, and we're back with Season 3, Episode 7 of Yellowjackets. Last we saw, we got Thanksgiving in Canada, but Canada was in parentheses is what I meant. Before I even get into that, I just want to let everybody know, I never watch the coming next episode thing. There's always like a little snippet of like coming next on Yellowjackets. I never watch those because people were talking to me and going like, well, that could be the new pit girl, meaning one of the two new people that just came in, because the way the last episode ended was two new people came in. I'm assuming they were birders, and that's why Van had the epiphany when she thought of the DAT tape. But that being said, I didn't get a good enough look at her, and they're like, well, if you watch the thing for the coming attractions of the next episode, it looks like a girl around that age that could potentially be Pit Girl. So whether or not that is true, I guess I'll find out very soon. But I don't watch those things because I try to go in as spoiler-free as possible, and I feel like a lot of the times those things lead you down roads that sometimes aren't the case because they intentionally mislead you, or they flat out spoil things for you before you see the episode. And I want to go in as, unknowing as possible. I like to be surprised and shocked. So that being said, I am aware that people said there is a strong chance that could be the Pit Girl, but I'll find out. The only thing I do know from watching the episode is the DAT tape was those people. I've rewatched the episode. I've talked to other people about the episode itself, and that is 100% the people. You could even hear Lottie screaming no on the tape like she did when they were running around like raving lunatics. Also the screaming. I said at the end of the last episode that it is very possibly an animal or a bird that mimics like a parrot, and people were talking to me about that, where it's kind of like a mockingjay in Hunger Games. I couldn't think of the name for a second. The Hunger Games has mockingjays. Now, I don't think those are real, as far as I know, but I know there is something like a mockingjay that can mimic sounds like that. So it is very possible that's what we're hearing. In the night, there are probably these animals. And this is if I'm making sense of what is happening. That's if it's not supernatural. I'm trying to figure this out. The only thing in the last episode I can't really figure out is how the phone rang that Van answered. Van had a phone ring in a box. It wasn't plugged in. On the other line was Ty going, help me. Then Ty rocked out of bed and was like, Van, help me, help me, help me. And then she like immediately snapped back into other Ty, laid down and was like, yeah, don't worry about that. Go to sleep. So I'm under the impression at this point that Ty, as we know her, is trapped inside of the crazy version of Ty, and the crazy version of Ty is running things, which would also lead me to believe that she is very possibly the one that killed Lottie then. However, if she is the other Ty, I don't think that version of Ty would want to kill Lottie. I feel like that's weird. Like, I was talking to this about people too, and if anybody was going to kill Lottie, they were making a case for Shauna, where Shauna went to New York to get the other cat, and there's like they were in Manhattan in the park, and that's kind of where the thing happened with Lottie. And I feel like Shauna said something about going to the precinct that was near Manhattan or something like that. It makes the most sense. It would be Shauna. Shauna is by far the most batshit crazy of anybody. Shauna has already murdered Adam. She thought he was somebody else, but he wasn't. Regardless, she killed him. She's also the most batshit violent, crazy person of all the young girls, too. So it's probably Shauna, but there is a case to be made for Ty and Shauna, and Missy's batshit crazy, too, but I don't see why Misty would be going around investigating all this stuff, and there's just no reason for Missy. Like, even though Misty, am I saying Missy? Misty has no reason to do it and then investigate and everything. I also feel like Walter still got shenanigans going on in the background that we have no clue about. But the big deal right now is these two new people. These two new people walked in on us with the coach's head on a stake after we had just killed him, or Nat did, out of mercy. And we ate him, and they're dancing around like raving lunatics screaming. So 3 days earlier, I don't know what we're starting with here, but I'm assuming this is going back to when we are young girls. Or is it? I don't know. We're going to find out. You want to see more of what I do? In the description is the link for Patreon, where you'll see every episode of Yellowjackets in full unedited. You want your own requested short movie, go to the link in the description. Ask me to watch whatever you want at a certain tier level, I will do so. That is how we have thousands of exclusives like Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Eureka, and Cobra Kai's final seasons. We started Leverage, Warehouse 13, Once Upon a Time just started season 4. We just finished Severance's final season like an hour ago. Check that out. Full unedited everything. Thousands of movies and shows. If not, season 3, episode 7, Yellowjackets. It's a mating call. Well, there's the sound. Ah. Oh my god. I didn't know he was in this. So they already know that the sounds come from the frogs.
The heart wants what it wants.
Joel McHale, look at him, and he's like a badass. She looks way younger. Is that his daughter? It could be his girlfriend. Like the girl that was Pit Girl looked younger, looked skinnier, younger, shorter. Is he serious? He fought a Sasquatch?
Whoa, wait.
Oh, shit.
Hungry?
Oh, God.
I mean, this dude is hunting with ease. He's got crossbows. Would he cut his toe? Doesn't this guy look way older than her? Not that.
I'm your lifeline.
If you thought a guy was capable of murdering you in the woods, why would you talk about it?
The phone on purpose.
I said that? Yeah, like, are you gonna call him out on it now? You're gonna call him out on it in the middle of the woods? Like, hey, you're not who you said you are?
Smells like
Yeah, they didn't show us Joel McHale. He was off screen. And the head's right by them. They're literally right by the head.
What the fuck?
We're going home.
I can't believe he's
Didn't
still...
mean to interrupt. We were just leaving. You know, he died of natural causes.
They don't belong. It doesn't want them here.
How is Joel McHale not immediately... Lottie just immediately... Oh.
Shauna, don't leave me! Get out! If she dies, you die.
Thought it wasn't gonna happen. The shocker is Joel McHale and the girl stood there while it happened.
Not just a mom who had a teenage pregnancy.
Needs to back the fuck off. That goes for you too, sweetie.
I hope you die. I can't wait. I'm gonna have a party. When Shauna dies, I'm gonna have a giant party. When you have such a horrible...
Keep an eye out for that 1099.
Wasn't anyone's business. I met up with her to have a private conversation. It certainly doesn't suggest that I killed her.
It doesn't mean you did, but that's really incriminating that you lied to all of us.
Not even knowing about it.
Joel, I mean, we know he doesn't.
My sweet baby Alex. I don't know if you'll get this. Hannah had a daughter who somehow got hold of a tape of what we did.
The daughter never even had her mother's name.
Maybe there's a hotel.
It's broken.
Oh my god, they're like right there. What is she gonna do? Run? What is she thinking?
What happened back there was not you shot an arrow through our fucking friend.
Look, let's head back and let's figure out how we all get out of here.
I'm thinking Joel McHale tries to rescue Hannah and gets taken out.
I just received the DNA results for a strand of hair I took from Shauna. It matches what you found under Lottie's nails.
They're all texting each other now. Really coughing up.
Not good.
Stop! There's a cliff!
Oh my god.
Take us back with you.
Yeah, Travis wants to get rescued. You better tell Shauna now. You're in a safe place.
It was probably covered with my DNA.
Indicative of a struggle.
What, like under her nails? I'm getting a Coke. I would offer to get you something if I weren't such a terrible friend.
And now she's running away. You don't think she now makes me think she isn't?
We never actually cheated death.
The fire again.
Damn it! What are you doing?
I won't let them take your lives.
It is you.
Van, listen to me, Van.
Lottie, what the fuck is wrong with you?
We're gonna try again.
I was gonna say break it off first, because you don't want those
Haven't you
friggin'...
done enough? They were gonna ruin everything. Go fuck your blood dirt, Lottie.
Lottie, you fucking lunatic.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Hannah.
Hannah's taking this extremely well, being as her lover is
Good person, and that all this...
mom piece of shit, dad.
2 researchers and a guide
disappeared without a trace. 100 miles from where the Yellowjackets plane went down.
100 miles. That's how far in they were. Went on her own. Is it possible this whole time Hannah's daughter is Hilary Swank? What is this, a weapon? The knife. All right, everybody, that is it for episode 7 of season 3. So, first things first, Shauna at the end there is at Hannah, who we learned the name of. Hannah and Cody, I think it was Cody, was Joe McHale. I can't remember. It was like Edward or Edgar or whatever, the guy that got tomahawked in the head by Lottie. Completely insane. But let's go from end to beginning, since that was the last thing we saw. So Shauna finds out, or knows already, or whatever, however they figured it out. Hannah had a child. She said it was a teenage pregnancy. I was freaking out in the beginning, saying, how could you leave a baby behind? But then Shauna was like, no, it was a teenage pregnancy. However it happened, whether she's a good mother or not, I'm not going to even get into all that. But they basically saved Hannah. And we know that Hannah stuck around for a while because they in the car said that Jen and Melissa talked to her the most and hung out with her the most. For them to even acknowledge that somebody would have hung out with her more than another means that Hannah must have been around a while. At the end there, Hannah really held it together. Now, like, granted, you needed to, but the fact that Hannah had her lover 5 feet away, not even, it was like 3 feet away from her, was her dead lover, tomahawked in the head. So, like, the fact she was able to hold it all together and not freak out like a raving lunatic over the fact that these girls savagely murdered her lover, I gotta give her credit. She should have stuck closer to Joe McHale. If I'm right, his name is Cody, but she should have stuck closer to him. My other thing is, if he really is this crazy mountain man survivalist, which I have no reason to doubt him, because he seemed to know his way around and was able to shoot that animal when they were looking for food or whatever, and then he cooked it. He seemed like he knew a great deal and had a lot of experience. Granted, these kids have been living out in the woods for a year plus, so they have experience as well, but not nearly as much as he probably has. And the fact that he had a head start on them and had a weapon better than theirs. I mean, granted, Travis had a gun, but you could see Travis was willing to cooperate, and Travis actually saved his life with Aquila, and we never really saw what happened to him. Travis and Aquila saved him from falling off the cliff, and then they all stood there, and we saw Hannah go back, but we never saw Joe McHale go back with them. I'm assuming they murder him because he's too much of a threat. It's kind of like Coach Ben. Even with one leg, Coach Ben was a threat to them, and they ended up killing him. But Hannah, it kind of fits in. I think it's like a girl thing. Even though Travis is still around and he's a boy, I feel like they do not want some adult man who, like, is a survivalist and tried to already kill Melissa and for good reason did so. I just feel like there's too many reasons that he's too much of a threat. Hannah looks like this timid woman. Like, she looks like one of them. She looks like just like one of the gang. So she could easily fit in, and she's already keeping it pretty cool where she could, like, you know, do what she needs to do to survive, I feel like. Granted, she probably dies at some point, and I feel like she is possibly Pit Girl also at this point. But she was wearing the necklace, or whoever was Pit Girl was wearing the necklace. So they must have, like, adapted into things and actually lost the Queen of Hearts game or whatever. But regardless of that, Lottie has plummeted in the ranks. Like, as far as my favorites, I always had Lottie kind of like on the higher end of likability, because even though Lottie did and said crazy things, I always felt like she was doing it for good reason, because like the wilderness told her, or she got a vision or something. But it was like, if something violent or bad happened, it was because it was an accident or unintentional, maybe. Even hunting the girls was a little on the insane side, but it still like made some sort of sense in the sense of like a mental case cult leader would or something. Like, clearly she's troubled. She's a mentally like challenged, troubled person. She definitely has issues, is my point. But all the girls, for the most part, have issues in some way or another. She just straight up murdered this dude. Van goes, we're saved. All the girls were excited. She straight up murdered a dude. She has now become like one of the worst. Probably, like, I still hate Shauna more than anybody. Shauna is by far my most hated because she's been violent since day one. And obviously, it would do probably the same thing. But the fact that Lottie did what she did, and then she's like, no, we needed to do it. They were going to ruin everything. Like, oh my God, I know she's off her meds and everything, but Jesus Christ, murder the dude. Then Shauna runs off after her and goes to Mari, if Melissa dies, you die. I don't know why this is probably never going to come up. Like, they didn't talk about that, but there wasn't really enough time to really talk about things. I can't imagine that wouldn't come up. Mari was like, Lottie, get your dirt blood ass out of here, whatever the frig she said. Mari and all of them are clearly pissed off that Lottie did what she did. Travis and Akilah even questioned it, and they were like, please take us back with you and get us away from here. I don't know. Is it possible that Travis and Akilah try to go away with Cody, or do they go back to the camp? If I was Cody, I'd be like, dude, I am not going back there. These girls are fucking crazy. If you two want to come back with me, now's your chance, but I ain't going back to that camp. But the fact that Shauna said what she said, if I was Mari, I'd be like, guys, Shauna is a fucking nutcase. The fact that Lottie put her in charge and now Lottie is a bigger nutcase, I feel like we should have some restructuring. We let the biggest nutcase put another nutcase in charge. And now her lover got shot with an arrow, so she's even more angry and violent. Like, this is all not good. Then on top of it all, Walter calls in modern, current time, present day, DNA evidence that Shauna was the one that Lottie attacked when she fell. Unless Walter's lying, that is definitely some incriminating shit, especially since we know Shauna's there. And I said the two biggest suspects are Ty and Shauna. I don't think Ty did it because, like I said, so many things are pointing to her that I don't think she did it. But now I also don't think Shauna did it because everyone's going to assume she did it because right after we called her out on it, she jumped in the van and left and went to Hannah's daughter's house. So there is tons of things going on right now. I'm very excited to see the next episode, but I'm going to go edit this up because I'm already talking for 8 years. You want to see more of what I do? In the description is the link for Patreon where you'll see every episode of Yellowjackets in full unedited. You want your own requested show or movie, go to the link, ask me to watch whatever you want at a certain tier level, I will do so. That is how we have thousands of exclusives like Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Eureka, and Cobra Kai's final seasons just ended. We're also done with Severance Season 2. It ended earlier today. I already edited it up. We did Leverage, Warehouse 13, Pushing Daisies, Good Omens, Once Upon a Time is in Season 4 already. Thousands of other movies and shows full unedited. Check it out. If not, comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.